Hi, I'm Stephanie Heyman with Fiskars, and we're back with another tool school using the Fiskars Fuse Creativity System. Today we're going to talk about using watercolor paper as well as using some distress markers to get a watercolor effect when you use the fuse. So I'm going to actually use the bird die for this one today, and there's all these great plates that you can get with the expansion pack, and I'm just going to grab one of the birds and put this in here. We're going to do two different effects. The first one we're going to do where it's more like painting inside the lines, and so we're going to use an archival ink pad. And the reason why I'm using this ink pad specifically is because it will not run when the water from the watercolors and the markers touch it. You won't get some of that running that you can get with other ink pads. So we want to use this one because it's water safe. So I'm going to ink this up. I am going to take it out of the lid, and then I just grabbed a little mini pad of watercolor paper, and I'm going to do it, either side is fine. I like to do it with the texture side down and really get the most watercolor look that I can get. So I'm going to lay that across the top and then just run this through the machine. Okay, so now when it comes out, let's pop it in the lid to get those out. I have my pieces with the ink on them. So what I'm going to do is just grab, this is a water brush and it's literally filled with water to kind of get that look that we're looking for. And I'm just going to take a few of my distress markers. And what I really like to be able to do is use the mat as my palette. So I'm going to paint on with my marker. And then I'm going to use the water pen to kind of go in and pick up some of that color. And then I'm just going to take that and add that to my bird and just kind of start painting the bird and adding in those bits of color, similar to like you would do with other watercolor projects. So I've got my purple. I can take my blue and add a little bit of that. To clean the water pen, I just make a little swirl over here and it's already cleaned off and ready to go. So I can add some light blue here. And then I can go back to and grab other colors and mix and blend and do all of those things and make a great little watercolor embellishment. And when it's done, you can get something that looks similar to this. You've got your little pieces all painted and ready to go. But it does have that outline, so it's still pretty defined in terms of what it's going to look like when it's done. If you want a little bit more of a subtle watercolor look, you can just run your bird through and just press. You don't use the ink. You're just going to press it into the paper. I'm just going to grab these, put them in there, because what that's going to do, it's still going to give you that texture of the deboss, and basically it kind of gives you your lines to paint within. So we're going to do the same thing, just run this through. I'll pull it out, pop those in the lid. And I've got my debossed pieces. It's very subtle in the watercolor paper, but it's there. So I know that that definition is in the paper. So for this one, I'm going to go with a different palette of colors. And I'm just going to swirl off my brush. And again, I'm just going to use the craft mat as my palette. Pick up a little bit of that red. And then just go in and start painting my bird. Add in those hints of red. Now, if you want a lot of color, you can actually use the marker right on the paper itself and then just do kind of like an outline and then go back in with the water brush and kind of spread it around and get some more of that definition. For this, I wanted it to be a little bit more of a subtle color flow, so I'm using it this way. There's lots of options that you have. And if you don't have the distress markers, you can do this with those watercolor pencils and just do some shading around the sides and then pull the color in with the water pen as well. So there's lots of fun watercolor options that you can have with the fuse. And so I could paint this all day, but what I'll do is show you another version that's done. So this is a different bird that I did, but you really get that subtle watercolor feel. And so you start to build enough of these, you can do some great cards with these. You can do some really fun mixed media projects with this and just have a lot of fun doing watercolors with your fuse. So thank you so much for stopping by Tool School today with Fiskars and the Fuse Creativity System. We hope that you come back to my craft channel for more videos with tool tips and lots of fun tricks. And we hope that you also stop by fiskars.com for more project and inspiration ideas. Thanks and happy crafting.